Hey, my name's Justin, and in today's video we're going to look at the top 50 games I had on my Commodore 64 in the 1980s. Let's get started right now. Hey, welcome to the Breadbox, the channel dedicated to Commodore computers. In this video, if you see any of your favourites from the 1980s when you were a kid, make a comment in the comments below. We'd love to know. And if you get time, why not put the top 10 games you loved playing in the 1980s on your Commodore 64 also in the comments below. The first game, Alien Syndrome. I loved playing this game because it was something I could play with my friends. It was a shoot 'em up game. It involved aliens. It had a really good backstory as well. In fact, you could also upgrade all your weapons to things like a fireball, a flamethrower, laser, and I think it was like a grenade launcher or a bomb launcher. This was a great game. I really enjoyed playing it. Did you used to play it? Let me know in the comments below. Next we have Platoon. Now the movie was pretty gritty. I find the game, when I was a kid anyway, was pretty gritty as well. I found it really hard. I never actually finished it, and I never got very far, but I loved playing it because it was a challenge. When I loaded up Project Firestar for the first time, I was blown away. I was a huge fan of Aliens and Predator, any sort of alien sort of movie, and this has a real movie cinematic feel about it. This is the start of the survival horror genre, and as a kid, I just loved it. I lapped it up. I did a full review video on this game a few months ago. If you want to check out this game in a lot of detail, check it out after this video. Here's the thumbnail to look out for. Car racing games feature in this list quite a lot. I love car racing games. The great thing about Buggy Boy, as we all know, is that it's a game that is a lot of fun. You could jump, it looked like a cartoon. It was a really good arcade conversion if you ever played it at the arcades. I think Buggy Boy was a fantastic game. Commando! I loved this game as a kid, and I still do. The sound is awesome. Really nice soundtrack from Rob Hubbard. But when I was a kid, I just loved the fact that I was running around shooting things. And the graphics I thought were really good. Sure, they're a little bit glitchy, but hey, overall the game is a great game. Next we have the Great Gianna Sisters. When I got a copy of this off one of my friends at school, I had no idea about the controversy about this game and how it would eventually be deleted off the shelves. I have never even heard of Mario Brothers at that stage either. I just found it a really great game. Hero. This was one of the first games I ever got for my Commodore 64, and I actually absolutely loved it. The fact that I could drop dynamite everywhere and blow things up, I thought that was fantastic. I always thought there was like hundreds and hundreds of caverns because I could never get very far as a kid, but I found it really hard. Yet I played it for hours and hours and hours and never really got very far, but absolutely loved the game. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below if you love this game as well. Impossible Mission. I must admit, I played this game for the first time thinking this was a Mission Impossible. The old 60s TV program that I saw on reruns with my parents. I love this game. Now, this might be a bit of a running theme with all the games I show you. As a kid, I found this game very, very hard, and I couldn't get very far. I was always falling down and dying. But I must admit, the digitized voice was my first experience with this, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And sometimes you'd almost want to fall down these little caverns just so you could hear the scream. Into the Eagle's Nest. When I first got this game, I was quite excited because I thought it was based on that Clint Eastwood movie of the same name. But then I later realised that that movie was called Where Eagles Dare. Nothing to do with this game. But I really liked this game because it was a bit like Gauntlet. Next we have Leadstorm. Now I must admit the game is pretty good. But that music is even better. And that's why I love this game so much. I love the car racing games, so it was great for that. But the music in this game was totally awesome. Loadrunner. This is by far one of my all-time favourite games. I love the challenge. Every level was like a puzzle. But also, in the 1980s, I had the version that you could make your own levels. I just loved that. I thought it was awesome. I had many years of great fun with this game. Monti on the Run. What an awesome game. I find this game quite difficult today, but even as a kid when I had really good eye-hand coordination, I still found this game really hard to play. But I loved playing it. New Zealand story. Now, just in case you don't know, I'm actually from New Zealand, and one of my friends at school said, "Oh, look at this game is actually from New Zealand." It wasn't from New Zealand, but it was based on New Zealand. The fact that New Zealand was actually used in a name of a game, I just thought that was rad. Paperboy. Now back in the 80s I was a Paperboy myself, so when this game came out, or when I got this game, I thought this was radical because here's a game about my life. Now I really stink at this game in the 1980s. Turns out I'm still stink at this game, but I always played it because it was just a challenge, and also I just loved the music as well. Paradroid. Here's another game that I got that I had no idea what I was doing. I had no instructions, I just started playing. For years I had no idea. But you sort of pick up, obviously you've got to survive, you've got to get rid of the robots. I really enjoyed this game. Next is Beachhead 2. Now I must admit, I never really got Beachhead 1, so when Beachhead 2 came out, I was a little bit apprehensive about buying it. But I did, and it rocked. This level here, the parachuting level, is my favourite level of the whole game. Did you like playing Beachhead 2? If so, let me know in the comments below if this was your favourite level of the game, or what level was your favourite level. And a very similar feel to Beachhead was Raid over Moscow. This game had me hooked. I really enjoyed this game. But I must admit, getting out of this hangar took me forever to do it. It wasn't until my dad actually pushed, I think it was F7 from memory, and the door finally opened. I spent hours trying to get out of this hangar. Could not work it out. But I really enjoyed the game. It had different elements that made it really enjoyable. Saturday morning cartoons, after school cartoons, Roadrunner, Warner Brothers, I just love them all. It was really good. Now, when I got this game, I thought, well, this is fantastic. I'm actually playing a cartoon. That's what it looks like. There's quite a lot of detail. The elements of the cartoon were in this game as well. In that cartoon, you used to feel a little bit sorry for Wile E. Coyote sometimes, because he'd always get injured, get blown up. But in this game, you can't afford to feel sorry for him, because obviously you want to survive. I really liked this game. I thought it was a lot of fun, real cartoonish, well worth playing. Bluemax was one of the games that I got on a same mixtape with Raid over Moscow and Bruce Lee, and a couple others. I really like this game because, I don't know, it's got the same sort of elements as Raid over Moscow, where you gotta get to the same level to be able to shoot the airplanes. It's a good little game. In this next game, I know exactly why I liked it. I used to love watching martial arts movies. I was a huge Bruce Lee fan, and when this game came out, I actually purchased it. It's one of the very few games I actually could afford to purchase, and I just loved it. It was fantastic. The case was actually quite large, and it just looked really awesome, this bunny rabbit samurai warrior. And the game did not let me down. It was awesome. This next game, RocketBallz, I really enjoyed playing this game. I was a big sports fan when I was growing up. I loved playing sports. I loved playing soccer, rugby, hockey, you name it. And this game here was just fantastic. I had no idea it was sort of based on a movie by James Caan. I just love the fact that you could actually bang into people, you could grab this ball and throw it into the goal. It was a really fun game to play, but a lot more fun when you're playing with friends, I must admit. Ssangsun. Now the reason why I love this game was the loading music. When I put that tape in and it finally got it to the picture, well the picture started to download, I was blown away by the music that Robert Hubbard made. I was so blown away, I ran downstairs and grabbed my mum and told her, come upstairs, you've got to check out this music, it's incredible. She got upstairs and she goes, oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, so that was a bit of a letdown, but I still loved the music, it was incredible. And I'd love actually playing this game, only because I had to load that tape and wait about 15 minutes for that tape to load and to hear that music each time. It was awesome. The game's not too bad though. SimCity. I absolutely loved this game when I was a kid because I love strategy games, and this is obviously a strategy, building a city and making the city grow. And I used to build up the city as much as I could, run out of money, and then I'd leave it sitting there for about an hour or two while I was outside playing, and then I'd come back in, spend that money, and then go out for a few more hours doing something, and then come back and keep on for days. I'd actually literally playing this game for days, leaving the Commodore 64 on, TV turned off at night time, just so I could actually continue generating income on the city. This is a great game, quite a classic. I used to love watching the reruns of Stingray, Joe 90, and of course Thunderbirds on TV after school. I really enjoyed those puppet TV programs, especially Thunderbirds, as they had really awesome vehicles. And this is quite an interesting puzzle game that I really enjoyed playing for hours. Never actually completed it though, I must admit. I used to love playing Iridium as well. Now, I used to have a lot better eye-hand coordination before my head injury. I find now that this is actually quite a fast game for me. When I was younger, and even before I had my head injury, I used to really cane at this game. It was really, really good. I still enjoy it though. Obviously there's a little bit of a running theme on these games that I used to love when I was a kid. A lot of martial arts games because I used to love martial arts. What did you find better? Did you find this better or did you find International Karate better? Let me know in the comments below. Whisp Ank. I find this game a really good game. When I was a kid, it was awesome because I used to love those gallery shooting games at the arcades. And when I got this game, I thought, oh, perfect. This is exactly the same. It took me ages to work out that you could actually scroll to the right and get more doors. I thought there was only 3 doors in the whole game. And then, of course, at the top you can see, obviously, there's 12 doors, which is really far too many doors for a bank, isn't it? Whizball. Now there's awesome music in Whizball, wouldn't you agree? I found this game when you first start quite frustrating. We just bouncing around uncontrollably. It's not until you can actually control your gravity that it becomes a very playable game. But my favourite part about the whole game, other than you trying to collect all these colours, it is the music. Synapse. This was an awesome game. When I first got it, I just loved this game. I just absolutely spent hours on it. I must admit, as I mentioned before, I find these sort of games quite hard to play now because of my head injury, but fantastic game. I used to love playing this when I was a kid. I used to love playing it 2 years ago as well. It was awesome. Action Biker. I used to love playing this game after school. Now, the reason why is because you could ride your motorbike around town and collect things. Now, I must admit, I didn't have any instructions for this game, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I saw these little flashing things and figured, okay, you must collect them. But what to do after that, I had no idea. But I loved playing it. I found it very frustrating, but I loved playing it. Probably the most controversial game on this list is Fist 2. Most people hated it. I actually loved it. When you're exploring the Warlord's temple or whatever it is, as a kid, I just loved the fact that you could explore and also you could fight martial arts as well. So yes, most people hate it, but as a kid, I loved this game. Defender of the Crown. This was one of my all-time favourite games. Of course, it's not an action game. It does have a little bit of action, but it's a strategy game, and I just loved strategy games. But also, the fact that you were playing a game that felt like you were playing a movie, it was so well done. CinemaWare did a really good job of this game. And being based in the time period of knights, the Middle Ages, I just love that era. I love the books like King Arthur, the Round Table, all those sort of things. And this game was set in that time period and it did a beautiful job at it. I was just blown away when I saw these graphics. Of course, very hard game to win when you're a kid, but well worth playing. I loved it. .180 darts or darts 180 is a real favourite of mine because I think mainly because my papa taught me how to play 501 when I was a kid, and when I got this on the Commodore 64 I just loved it because it reminded me of my papa. This is a great game because obviously you're competing against a computer or with someone else, but when I was a kid I just figured this is what a pub used to look like as well. You'll see what I mean. California games. I absolutely love this game because if I wasn't at school, I was either BMXing, I was skateboarding, I was playing frisbee, losing my frisbee on someone's roof, and ironically at school playing hacky sack with my friends. So when this game came out on the Commodore 64, I was in with a grin. My favourite on this was BMXing and surfing. What about you? What was your favourite on California games? Let me know in the comments below. One of my all-time favourite movies was Goonies. I love this so much, this movie. Probably watched it 20 times when I was a kid. And I reckon this game here has really captured the essence of the movie. You know, those movie conversions, usually they just really stink. But in Goonies, I reckon it's really awesome because it's a puzzle game, it's a game of teamwork, and that's what the movie was really about, wasn't it? Okay, who's heard of this game, Coney War? Now, this is one of the first games I ever got on my Commodore 64, and all I had was like a typing tutor and this game, and Metrobus I think it was. Anyway, why I like this game so much is because I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid, but also this game you could travel through different ages, and I thought it was a fantastic game, I just loved it. So who played this game when they were a kid? Let me know in the comments below. For ages my friends were talking about this game, and I finally was able to get a copy off one of them, and I was really stoked because the fact I could drive a Lamborghini, and I was in. And the graphics at the time were absolutely awesome. These cars looked fantastic. The game I found really hard, but I kept on playing it mainly because I was driving a Lamborghini, and that was one of my dreams. I was a big fan of Manic Miner, so when I got Jet Set Willy too, I thought it was fantastic because now we've got a top hat. But this game, just like Manic Miner, it just needs precision jumping, and that was really hard. But I kept on coming back because this game has so many different levels I could never finish it. Actually, I got nowhere near finishing it, but I did love playing the game. Pitstop 2. I absolutely loved racing games when I was a kid. Actually, I'm still a big kid, so yes, I still love racing games. I remember playing this game with my nana. I only just got it and I thought it was fantastic. The fact you could change your tyres, you could also fuel up your racing car as well. And she sat down to play it with me, and I remember her saying, I don't get it. I don't know why I bring that up, but yeah, I just thought it was an awesome game though. Bobble. This is one of those games I keep on going back to. It's a cute little game, the cutest brontosauruses you ever see. It's a challenging game though as well. Like, there's so many different levels, and I could never get through it, but I just loved playing it, especially because it was 2 players, and you could play with your friends, and that was something I thought was pretty awesome. Pyrus. Could this very well be the king of strategy games on the Commodore 64? Let me know in the comments below. I absolutely loved playing this game. It's one of those games you could spend 6 hours non-stop playing it and still not achieve anything. You're just sailing around, conquering, plundering. What a fantastic game. Next we have The Last Ninja. Between the graphics and the awesome music, I thought this game was incredible. When I got this in the 1980s, I was blown away by it. I thought it was an absolutely amazing game. I've got a thing for ninjas and samurais and martial arts, as I've already mentioned, so this was right up my alley. Okay, you knew it was coming. I've already mentioned about 3 times I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan, so of course Bruce Lee the game was going to be on this list. This was the very first game that I was addicted to. It was one of the first games I got on a mixtape and played it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And on that same mixtape was Falcon Patrol. I think those first games you had on your Commodore 64 are always dear to your heart because they're the ones that got you sort of hooked on playing the Commodore 64, and Falcon Patrol is one of those games. Rolling Thunder. When I was a kid, I loved reruns of 1960s secret agent movies or TV programs like The Saint, The Fugitive, The Avengers, and of course Mission Impossible. So when I found Rolling Thunder, I thought this was fantastic. At the time though, I had no idea what I was doing. I just enjoyed doing it. It was fun. I love strategy games, but when all my friends were going on about Elite at school, I couldn't understand it. I saw this wire graphics game and I thought, this looks pretty boring, but it's not until you play it, and it's not until you actually get into it, you realise how good this game is. It's a real fun game that can pretty much last forever if you want to. Rambo First Blood Part 2. I did a video on this a couple of months ago and I was quite happy that Martin Galway, the composer for this awesome music you can hear right now, actually made a comment on my video. Check that video out on my channel. What a fitting game to follow Rambo, or Cara Juarez. I loved playing this game when I was a kid because I could play with my friends. There's 2 players. Now, I must admit, I discovered just now, this game is so much more easier when you play 2 player. It is really, really hard when you play 1 player. Here's an interesting one, Treasure Island. I've just recently watched Muppets Treasure Island with my daughter. I love that movie, it's so funny, well worth watching. And it reminded me about this game here. I used to love playing this when I was a kid. I used to love reading Mad magazine, And these two characters, White Spy and Black Spy, are from that magazine. Did you ever read that magazine back in the 80s? Let me know in the comments below. What I love about this game is it's so loyal to those characters in the magazine. I used to love playing this game with my friends because you could use these traps to try and get rid of each other. They'd walk through a door and something could happen to them. It was great fun. In this case, we were trying to find items within the foreign embassy to be able to escape in a plane.